Tonight's super senior is nearly 90.
And while he grew up in rural Vermont, he's seen the world, most of it from under the sea.
Joe Carroll made a port of call to his home in Middlebury to meet him.
You guys go ahead, I'll follow.
On a Friday in February, Kenneth Perry and his brother David and David's wife Erin journeyed to Vermont for a get-together. Traveling from their homes in Virginia.
So great to be here.
To visit their parents, Al and Marcia.
I told you we have a cat, right?
It's a time to catch up.
It is lovely to have our family, but part of our family.
The couple have 5 more children.
Kenneth, who was the firstborn.
Please don't say number one, because that would...
Al, a native of Richford, met Marcia, a college student, when he was in the Navy.
We met washing dishes.
It was the end of a party, but the beginning of a romance.
Marcia was the date of one of my housemates.
Oh!
By the end of the year, they were married.
That was a long time ago.
Over 6 decades ago, Al was about to set sail on a journey of a lifetime on a U.S. submarine. The modern nuclear subs ran silent and deep under the ocean.
Different world.
Al was a young officer assigned to the USS Sam Houston, a brand new boat with a green crew.
Our perspective was we were on our first deployment.
In late October 1962, the Soviet Union stationed nuclear warheads in nearby Cuba, aimed at the U.S.
We interrupt this program. Good evening.
The Russians and Americans were on the edge of war.
But we certainly weren't aware of any problem in Cuba.
I was actually born during the Cuban Missile Crisis, of course, blissfully unaware of my surroundings. Al, though, was in the middle of the Atlantic when his captain received a communique with some sobering news.
We got this message that said, essentially, prepare to launch missiles.
Al was the diving officer in charge of bringing the sub to periscope depth in order to launch the nuclear ballistic missiles.
But when you hear prepare to launch, that brings it to a different level.
Yeah, and it was the first time for us except for practicing.
After intense negotiations, the missiles were removed from Cuba and the Sam Houston was ordered to stand down. Al's career in the Navy would continue. He became captain of the USS Spadefish. An intense career where he would spend months isolated from the world and away from his family.
I really didn't think about home and family when I was at sea. I completely focused on what I was doing. I had my duty, Marcia had her duty.
Yes, I think you had your job and I had mine.
All 4 boys followed in their father's footsteps and joined the Navy. David in for 11 years.
You don't want to let them down. Integrity is everything.
Kenneth for 32.
And interestingly, for me, the first submarine that I was assigned was the same submarine that my dad commanded.
What was your highest rank?
Rear Admiral.
Oh.
As a fellow Vermonter, career submariner from a family of career submariners.
In 2021, Douglas, the youngest son, was on hand along with his dad at the commissioning of the USS Vermont. At the time, Douglas was a Rear Admiral. In January, he was promoted to Vice Admiral.
Your children and your family are the most important thing you ever do.
We have about 170 or 180 years of Navy in our family. Glad that we served.
Well, I'm glad you served also.
Reporting in Middlebury, Joe Carroll, Channel 3 News.
Such a great family.